So 2 days ago, Sayadaw expounded about Jhana and its definition, and also division of Jhana, Aramanupa Jhana, Lakhanupa Jhana. So Sayadaw explained about Aramanupa Jhana, that the mind must be focused on a meditative object called kasina, etc. And a developed concentration is called Aramanupa Jhana. In case of Lakhanupa Jhana, so yogi need to focus his mind on the characteristics of the mental and physical phenomena. That's a Lakhanupa Jhana. Contemplation on characteristics or called Lakhana of mental and physical phenomena. And for easy understanding and practical practice, Sayadaw described the first one as Samatha Jhana, second one as Vipassana Jhana. And then also Sayadaw explained the difference between two kinds of jhana. The first one is to tranquil our mind, keeping our mind away from mental defilements or hindrances to some extent for certain kinds of periods. And second kind of Vipassana Jhana is to see the characteristics of mind and body by observing the moment they take place. So in this way, Sayadaw explained two jhanas and their definitions and their difference, practically and theoretically. But for some reason, Sayadaw took a break yesterday, so today Sayadaw will continue that Dhamma talk. So also Sayadaw explained the definition of another definition of jhana. The first definition is made to focus our mind on a single object with a full attention is called jhana. The second definition is jhana means burning up, burning the mental hindrances. In this sense also that these particular mental factors are called jhana. So jhana can be defined in two ways. The first one is focusing our mind on a single object, particular single object. And then second definition is burning mental defilements down. So to explain about jhana from yogi's own experience, we take example on the rising observation or rising falling or the abdomen. So suppose we observe rising falling or the abdomen, then the jhana factors accompanies. First of all, vitaka, aiming, is a necessity. We have to aim our mind at the right object. So whatever object occurs to us, we have to aim it on that object. And then also we have to make effort to pay our attention to the object. That's viriya, the pushing energy. And because of these two energies, aiming and effort, so we can experience the object just like touching and rubbing the object. That's mental factor is called vichara. That's the second jhana factor. So thus there's two jhana factors are involved in paying attention to a meditative object, rising, falling. The first one is aiming, and the second one is rubbing, the experiencing the object, that is rubbing and touching the object. Just like hitting something to a target, you hit something to a target, that can be compared with the aiming, vitakka, and the thing is hit to the target, touching the target, that can be compared with the vichara. So at that moment, the mind is penetrated into the object, with every object occurring to us. So in this way, we pay whole attention to the objects as a vitakka by aiming our mind at the objects occurring to us. And we experience the object by touching and rubbing, as if we touch the object. That the vichara is sustained attention. It can be also compared with the sewing two pieces of clothes. So when we sew two pieces, when we bind two pieces of clothes by sewing, first of all we put the needle into the two pieces. That can be compared like vitakka. And then the thread follow that needle. That can be compared with the vichara. So the vitakka, aiming, and vichara, or the experiencing the object in terms of touching or rubbing, can be compared thread. So every sewing, every moment of sewing, we bind two pieces of the clothes. So first of all we put needle into the two pieces of the clothes, and the second thread we follow the needle. In this way we can tie two pieces of clothes together. So in the same way, our mind must be tied to the object with the full attention and sustained attention, or aiming or rubbing. That's called Jhana or Upanijjhana, the focusing our mind on the object. So if we think about the process of the Jhana, we can find that jhana factor is their corresponding opposite phenomena, mental phenomena. They are called in Pali nivarana, or the mental hindrances. There are 5 kinds of mental hindrances. First of all, kamacchanda, which is translated sensual desire. So we take delight in good sight, beautiful sight, or we enjoy the sweet sound, smell, taste, touch, and so on. This type of craving for senses or sensual pleasure called kamacchanda is a hindrance to jhana, the concentration. So they are opposite of the jhana. So when your mind is focused on the object, your mind is powerful enough to ban such a opposite unwholesome phenomena. And the second hindrance is aversion or anger or hatred or disappointment or frustration, irritation, and so on. And if your mind is fully focused on the object through the right aiming and rubbing, you can keep your mind away from such a aversion or irritation or frustration. Second, mental hindrance. And then the third one is the sloth and torpor, or laziness, or mental fatigue. So when your mind is focused on the object, and your mind is alert and fresh, then there will be no room for the laziness. So in this way, the jhana factor can burn up the laziness or sloth and torpor, China major. So there are also viriya, energy, effort. You put a certain amount of effort in the practice. In this way also you can keep your mind away from the laziness. And then when your mind is fully focused on the object, keeping it away from the hindrances, then your mind is tranquil and can counteract the worry and restlessness and greed and so on. So the fourth hindrance also can be overcome. And the last one is vicikiccha, the skeptical doubt. When your mind is fully focused by aiming your mind at the right object and experiencing or rubbing the right object, then you experience the phenomena in suddenly or surely. So your experience of the phenomena is very sure and sudden. There will be no doubt about the phenomena. In this way you can overcome skeptical doubt. Thus these jhana factors can burn up 5 kinds of hindrances. That's why in this sense these factors are also called jhana, burning up mental defilements. So in this way jhana can be defined in two ways. So which is of 5 jhana factors, which is composed of the 5 jhana factors. The vitakka, the aiming, and vichara, the rubbing or experiencing the object, or piti, joy, sukha, happiness, and ekaggata, one-pointedness of mind or the concentration. So the last one, the ekaggata or concentration, is the most important factor among others. So actually, thus concentration is the characterized or the jhana. But the rest factors also important. Without the aiming or rubbing vichara, there will be no chance for concentration. So the vitakka, aiming, etc. also very conducive to the concentration. So that's why all 5 factors are regarded as a jhana, not only concentration. Although concentration is the most important factor and characterizes jhana. And that concentration is also 3 stages or 3 kinds. Number 1 is khanika samadhi, the temporary concentration or momentary concentration. The second one is upachara samadhi, preliminary concentration or neighborhood concentration. And number 3 is apana samadhi, cultivated concentration or the jhanic concentration. So we need to understand first these three concentrations. So first of all, Khanika Samadhi. So Samadhi means we concentrate. The mind is concentrated on a single object. Such a concentration is called Samadhi. So when your mind is concentrated on a object, on a single object, then mind is becomes stable and steady and tranquil. That's why that type of concentration is called Samadhi. So and then another one is Khanika. Khanika is of two words combined, the Khana and the Ika. Khana and the Ika suffix. So Khana means moment, or momentary, or from moment to moment. Now Ika means take place. So Khanika means the concentration which takes place from moment to moment, or momentary concentration. So for example, you focus your mind on the object, suppose rising, falling, or the abdomen. Then you pay attention to the object, you make effort, and then your mind penetrates into the object, samatha jhana. For example, the Vipassana, we focus our mind on a certain kinds of meditative object, just like such as the circle or the swine or earth. Our mind must be fully focused on that single object, saying somewhere like Patwi or earth or swine. And then that the mind is fully concentrated on that single object, and that's the concentration take place. That concentration is, in due course of time, is very strong, enough to leave the cultivating concentration. So that concentration just before the cultivating concentration is called the neighborhood concentration or preliminary concentration. That concentration is mature enough to lead the jhanic concentration. So this concentration is called Upajjhara Samadhi. And the last one is called Anapana Samadhi. It can be compared with a candlelight, which is burning in a room where there is no wind blowing. So the mind is very calm and tranquil and totally, completely, fully focused on a single object without any mental hindrance. That's why the mind is very concentrated on a single object. So that concentration is called Anapana Samadhi. So this one is just like putting something into somewhere. So very strong and stable concentration. So in this way, there are three kinds of concentration we need to learn. So another way of dividing the samadhi is Khanika Samadhi and Paṇḍitā Samadhi. Khanika Samadhi means, as mentioned earlier, the focusing our mind on a mental and physical phenomena which are occurring to us from moment to moment. And its object is, of course, mind and body, which really exists, which can be directly experienced in ultimate sense. So the Khanika Samadhi, its object is the ultimate truth. That is the mental and physical phenomena which can be directly experienced. The second concentration is Paṇḍitā Samadhi. So this concentration is, in terms of this concentration, mind is focused on a single conceptual object. So mind must be concentrated on a single object, which is conceptual object, like kasina. So in brief, Khanika Samadhi is developed by observing mental and physical phenomena the moment they take place. And Paṇḍitā Samadhi is developed by focusing our mind on a single object, which is concept. So when we develop Khanika Samadhi, momentary concentration, so the formula is, as mentioned last day, all we need to do is to observe the phenomena the moment they take place. For example, we have to know rising and falling the moment they take place. Know the rising the moment when the abdomen rises. So in the same way, we have to know bending the moment we bend. Similarly with the stretching and closing your eye and so on. So the point is to observe phenomena the moment they take place. Then our mind is focused on the object from moment to moment. And then later we can able to see the phenomena, mental or physical phenomena, in terms of their own individual characteristics. And after that, we see their causality and relativity. And there also we can find the Jhana factors when we involved in the observing mental process. So when we observe an object with a full attention, we can see the mental and physical phenomena in terms of their individual characteristics. And then we see them how they appear, how they come into existence. And then we see the existence or arising moment. And then we see the lasting moment, and also distinguishing moment, extinction moment too. So especially we more clearly see the moment they pass away. So when we see the phenomena passing away, we realize their impermanence. So that's why the Vipassana with me, Vipassana means seeing in terms of the impermanence. So Vipassana means seeing things in terms of the impermanence. So when we see impermanence, we spontaneously realize their unsatisfactoriness and selflessness, egolessness. So if we see one characteristic, we can realize the rest too, spontaneously. So most of us, we start to see the impermanence of the phenomena. And by seeing impermanence, we can realize the rest too common characteristic, that is unsatisfactoriness and the egolessness. So every moment we note objects, one object and another, our mind is concentrated on one object and another, that the Khanika Samadhi, the momentary concentration, take place from moment to moment. So now time is up, the 1 hour already. So next day, Sayadaw will explain the Chinese factor, Vitaka and Vichara, and how they find up their opposite mental phenomena. So how they find up their opposite mental and physical phenomena, and in this Chinese factors, Chinese factor when become mature, so our insight knowledge also get mature, and then our mind is kept away from the mental hindrances. So the moment mind is kept away from mental hindrances, the piti, sukha, and joy and happiness naturally take place. At that moment, the concentration, the tranquility also arise. So these processes are very interesting, Sayadaw. We continue to explain tomorrow. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu.